All right, today we're diving into something really fascinating, a spiritual path from southern India that's, well, it's pretty radical. We're talking about a kind of yoga that isn't about escaping the world. No, it's about totally transforming it. And it all starts right here with the human body. So let's just jump right in with a question that might just flip everything you think you know about yoga on its head. What if the goal, the real goal, wasn't to escape the body? What if it was to transform it, literally, into pure light?
So let's talk about the goal here, because it goes way beyond what you might think of as liberation. Okay, so the tradition we're talking about is called Siddhantam. This is the path of the 18 Siddhas of South India. And their goal was, well, it was the whole shebang. Not just a spiritual awakening, but a complete top-to-bottom transformation on every single level you can imagine. Physical, vital, mental, intellectual, and yeah, spiritual too.
And this is where you can really see the difference, right? On one hand, you've got classical yoga, which is often aiming for moksha, liberation, getting off the wheel of reincarnation. But with Siddhantam, the goal is something called Sarupa Samadhi. It's not about leaving, it's about a complete transformation right here, in this world. Think about that shift. It's not about escaping creation, it's about perfecting it.
All right, so who are the guides on this journey, and what's the map they're using to get there? Let's take a look.
This quote from Setha Tirumalar really gets to the heart of it. May all experience the joy that I have experienced. It tells you everything about their motivation, doesn't it? This wasn't some selfish quest for personal enlightenment. It came from a place of just immense compassion, a real desire for everyone to feel that same incredible joy.
So what's the map for this journey? Well, they use this incredible analogy. The idea is that the practitioner, you create a staircase inside yourself that connects heaven and earth. So the work isn't about climbing up and then, kicking the ladder away. It's about building a permanent bridge, a connection between the spiritual world and the material world right inside you. And what does this bridge connect? Well, it connects these two fundamental concepts, Shiva and Shakti. You can think of Shiva as pure consciousness, the silent witness, just stillness. And Shakti, that's the energy, the manifestation, the dance of all creation. So the whole point for the Siddha yogi is to bring these two together, to unite them inside themselves, making their own body the sacred meeting place of heaven and earth. Pretty profound, right?
Okay, so that's the map, but what's the engine that drives this whole thing? That brings us to the how of the journey, the inner fire of transformation, Kundalini. So what is Kundalini? It's often described as our own potential psycho-spiritual energy. The classic symbol is a serpent, coiled and sleeping at the base of the spine. And really, this whole incredible process of transformation, it all depends on awakening that dormant power and guiding it up through the body's energy centers, the chakras.
And this isn't just a random process. The Siddha Boganathar actually laid it out in 4 distinct stages. First, Diksha Kundalini. The energy gets initiated or kindled. Then comes Karma Kundalini. This is why the activated energy starts bringing up all your stuff. Your internal tendencies, your karma, everything that needs to be cleansed. After that, through practice, Kriya Kundalini, your consciousness is slowly raised up through the chakras. And finally, Yoga Kundalini. The energy merges with Shiva, with pure consciousness, right at the crown chakra. And when that happens, wow, the result is just this incredibly powerful realization. As the saying goes, the jiva becomes Shiva. The individual self, the jiva, doesn't just get a glimpse of the divine, it becomes the divine. That's the crazy, radical alchemy that's at the very heart of this path. Okay, but you can imagine, right? Navigating this kind of inner explosion of energy, it's going to require a very specific mindset. So let's talk about the key tool the yogi uses to master their own inner world during this process. And let's start with a question for you. Just think about it for a second. When you're having a thought or feeling an emotion, who is the you that's watching that happen? Who is observing your own experience? Well, in this tradition, that observer has a name, is called the witness consciousness, or Purusha, and it's this space of pure consciousness inside you that is completely unaffected by anything, by the drama of life, by your karmas, anything. It's just there, watching. And the secret, the key to freedom, is learning to connect with that part of you. And this is why it's so important, by learning to detach. And we're not talking about detaching from life, but from your reactions to life. That's how the yogi finds what they call the kingdom of heaven within.
You stop identifying with the storm of your thoughts and emotions, and you realize you're actually the calm, clear sky that the storm is just passing through. Which brings us to the grand finale, the arrival. This is the moment where all of that intense effort, all of that purification, is finally met by something else, a divine force that descends to complete the work. You see, it's a two-way street. The yogi's effort is absolutely crucial. You have to build the staircase, right? You awaken the kundalini, you do the purification, you stay in that witness state. But that effort just makes the descent of grace possible. The final step isn't taken, it's received. And we have this incredible example with Siddhargal Swami. He didn't just muscle his way to the finish line. No, he actively invoked this divine light of grace, this Aral Perun Yoti, asking it to come down and finish the job, to transmute his physical body into an immortal body of light. And that final realization, that's Sarupa Samadhi. It's the ultimate goal we talked about at the beginning, the complete union of Shiva and Shakti. But the key thing to remember is the body isn't left behind. It becomes this perfected, immortal, golden body, a perfect vehicle for the divine to actually live and act right here on Earth. So we end right back where we started with a question that this whole path kind of forces on us. It suggests a world where spirit and matter aren't enemies, where they're not separate at all. They're partners in this incredible divine dance. And it just leaves you wondering, what is the ultimate potential of a human being? What are we capable of if we stop seeing spirit and matter as separate?